Hey everyone. Before I get started with the update, I just want to say that I've been blown away by the number of responses. While there are some things I need to address, I wanted to thank you all for the support. It's been a stressful few days, and every bit helps. First, a few of you have mentioned that this might not be Beth I have been speaking to. Some have mentioned the possibility of someone intentionally tricking me. Others have mentioned the possibility of something more malevolent pretending to be Beth. One of you suggested that I should ask her something only she would know, which was a great idea. I asked her what show we were watching on Neffex the night we hooked up. Old Wounds. But I wanted to be sure. She immediately answered Daredevil, which was correct. I think she had a thing for superheroes. Anyways, unless whoever it is had quick access to a Neffex history for that small piece of trivia, I'm pretty sure it's Beth. A few of you so nicely pointed out that I'm kind of a piece of shit. I get it. I shouldn't have let her on. I really do get it. You think this isn't the shit I told myself over and over since she died? I fucked up. Now I'm paying the price. No need to rub it in. And lastly, quite a few of you gave suggestions on how to deal with this. Things like an exorcist or a house cleanse have come to mind, but some of you have suggested that I shouldn't do anything drastic until I know exactly what Beth is capable of. And I agree. Although I now have a somewhat better idea, I still don't know exactly what she can do. And I have to be careful what I discuss. For all I know, she's looking over my shoulder as I type this. I told her that I write to relax, and I'm mostly writing this to vent. She seems to be allowing this for now, so let's continue. After my little breakdown in my living room, I told Beth that I needed to sleep everything off and process. She agreed that we could talk more in the morning. I didn't really feel ready to change in front of my spectral stalker, so I just laid down with all my clothes on. Sleep didn't come to me as easily as I hoped. I spent what felt like hours just laying there with my eyes closed. It may have been paranoia, but I think she was watching me the whole time. Eventually, for what it's worth, I did end up falling asleep. I wish I could say I slept soundly throughout the night and woke up refreshed, but I didn't. An old but well-known dream came to visit me. Beth was smiling at me as I put my hands around her neck and started to squeeze. I tried with every ounce of strength I could to pull my hands away. I screamed and screamed for myself to stop, but I wouldn't listen. And as I was strangling the life out of Beth, she kept smiling, like she was just happy I was there. Even as her neck snapped, she just smiled at me. I was already sitting on the edge of my bed, crying as I was realizing it was the same nightmare again. As I was calming down, I felt something cold brush against my cheek, cold as ice and yet warm. I froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. A breeze came over my neck and a whisper into my ear. Eric. I was out the door in an instant, bolting out into the dark night. I didn't know if I could take it, so I needed to think. I didn't want to go back to sleep, so I walked, nowhere in particular. Once I figured out my direction, I decided on the 24-hour convenience store close to my complex. After a block, my phone buzzed. Beth, where are you going? I ignored it. I needed time to myself. After turning another corner, another message. Beth, go back. Leave me alone. I told no one in particular. 2 more blocks. Beth, go back. Odd. She hadn't used caps locks before. I was so distracted by that thought that I didn't notice the 2 men approaching me. I was met by a hard blow to the gut, hunching me over. I gasped as my lungs struggled to suck air back in. The phone was pulled from my hand. I looked up to see 2 barrels pointed at my face. Now, I've never had a gun pointed at me before, so I'd be lying if I said I handled it well. Please, I attempted to say. It came out as a whimper. Wallet, one of the men demanded. I pleaded again, to no avail. Give me your fucking wallet, he answered, along with a click as he pulled back the hammer on his pistol. I started to hyperventilate, white clouds of vapor blowing from my mouth as I did. It was a cool night, but it shouldn't have been that cold. As I shakily reached for my pocket, the man's arm swayed to the left, the gun going off in his friend's face. The sound was so loud, I couldn't even hear the man yell in panic. I was frozen until I heard her voice in my ear. Run. I quickly snatched my phone off the ground, just as the seeping puddle of blood touched it. I ran as fast as I could back to my apartment complex, stopping at the entrance as my lungs gave out. I coughed and heaved to catch my breath, followed by shortly vomiting into the asphalt. I checked behind me. No one. I pulled my phone up to call 911, but it was dead. Again. I checked again to make sure he didn't follow me, then weakly trudged over to my apartment. I locked the door as soon as I got inside. I collapsed onto my couch, the crash from the adrenaline high being enough to finally knock me out. I woke up to the sound of a lock clicking. I looked to see my front door open, the familiar woman stepping inside. Sarah. I smiled at her. I had just woken from a terrible and elaborate nightmare. And now Sarah was finally here to enjoy my day off with me. Hey babe, I greeted her. I tried to call, but your phone went straight to voicemail. Did you forget to plug it in? Must have, I said as I got up and gave her a kiss. She smiled, but pulled away from me. Eric, did you hurt yourself last night? What? I asked, nothing clicking into place. You've got blood on you. Alarmed, I stepped quickly into the bathroom to check myself in the mirror. Little droplets of blood were dried onto my face and shirt. It all came back at once. Beth, the text, the mugging, the feel of her icy hand on my cheek, her breath as she whispered my name. I turned and hugged the toilet as I vomited again. Sarah was quick to my side, patting me on the back. Oh, honey, I'll go get you some water. She left me to finish heaving into the toilet. I calmed my stomach and caught my breath, interrupting a moment later by a loud scream and the sound of shattered glass. I rushed into the kitchen to see Sarah with her hand clutched to her chest. face pale. "What happened?" I asked her with a shaky voice. I took a moment to gather myself. I waited in dreadful anticipation. "I grabbed a glass out of the cabinet, and there was a cockroach in it." I stepped out of the kitchen and sunk into the closest chair of my living room. She came in to join me, but I stopped her before she could sit. "I need you to go," I said as calmly as I could. She looked hurt. "Eric, if this is about the glass, you can't be here right now," I snapped. Something to note. In the time that I've been dating Sarah, we've never gotten into a screaming match. Odd, I know. But I guess we're still in that honeymoon phase of dating, where everything is perfect. So when I raised my voice, both of us winced in response. She looked at me with more concern than anything else. "What's wrong, Eric?" What was I supposed to tell her? "Hey babe, remember that girl that offed herself because of me? Yeah, she's haunting me now and is likely to kill you if you don't leave, so take a hike." So instead I dodged the question. "Sarah, please, I'll call you later, but I need to be by myself. I'll spare you the back and forth of the past few minutes of her asking what was going on and me not answering her." She left shortly after in what may be seen as a pissy mood. Can't say I blamed her, but it was for her own good. Now that she left, I had to deal with the elephant in the room, and the ghost. After plugging in and turning on the phone, I wasn't surprised to see a text waiting for me. "Beth." Who the fuck was that? Beth. Dump her, or she dies. Saw that coming. Conversation about Sarah went as well as you would expect. She acted like she didn't know, which I found odd. Anyways, you could imagine that she wasn't happy that I was involved with another woman. She was quick to make our breakup the first of her demands. I didn't have much reason to disagree. As much as I don't want to, and as much as I love her, Sarah's not safe with me right now. Maybe I can pick up the pieces once this is all over, but right now it's for the best. The only argument I made was letting me do it my way. Beth, you have 2 days. At least this shows that I can reason with her when it comes to these demands. Maybe just a little. Regardless, this gives me time to figure out how things end with Sarah without breaking her heart, or even worse, making her suspicious. Either that, or find a way to fix this so I won't have to. The rest of Saturday was rather uneventful. I distanced myself from my cell phone for the most of the day. Beth would every once in a while remind me that she was there by closing a door or knocking something over. More annoying than startling after a while. We did talk a bit though. I asked her if saving my life the time she did would increase my chances of dying. Beth, you mean like Final Destination? I paused for a moment. Of course I meant like Final Destination. Those movies scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And the idea is scaring the shit out of me now. Yeah, I answered. Beth. Good idea. Let's watch it. Bitch. Sleep wasn't much better Saturday night, although Beth made less of an effort to creep the shit out of me. I still felt her watching me the whole time. I know I couldn't do this every night, so I thought of a plan. I set an alarm for the morning. I was getting ready, dressing in the nicest casual nice clothes I had when Beth texted me. Beth, going somewhere? Church, I answered. Beth, why? I sighed in annoyance. Well, here we go. Well, you kind of proved that there's a life after death, which means I need to start worrying about where I'll go when I die. Now there can be some actual truth to everything. I continued to get ready, and a few minutes passed without a reply from Beth. Out of curiosity, I asked, is there any truth to it? Beth, to what? God, heaven, hell? Beth, don't ask me that. Why not? I asked with intrigue. Beth, just don't. I shrugged it off. Last thing I wanted to do was push her. I left shortly after, heading over to St. Joseph's Church. The church hadn't really changed much since the last time I was there. My dad used to take us every Sunday, but I haven't gone in years. Father Frank was still there, which was good. He should be willing to help. Mass went as expected. I had to use the card with the changes that Pope Benedict implemented. But I gave up after a while and just sat quietly. Along with the other Catholics, I was tapping my foot impatiently after the hour mark. Father Frank didn't disappoint, ending the Mass not long after. I exited out of the back of the church where Father Frank was wishing the parishioners a good day. Father Frank, I greeted him as I approached. He smiled politely, then recognized me a moment later. Eric, I wasn't expecting to see you here. He shook my hand with both of his. Will this be regular? Not sure yet, I answered honestly. Well, it was good to see you, he said as he moved to shake someone else's hand. I waited a few minutes for the last of the parishioners to come out. Father Frank noticed me waiting. Something I can help you with, Eric? Yeah, actually. Can we talk somewhere private? This isn't like the movies, Father Frank said from his desk. I can't just give you an exorcism. I'm really not even authorized to give them. We need a special priest. Damn. So that's it? I'm just shit out of luck? I winced at the piercing look he gave me over my swear. Sorry. The priest sighed. I'm not saying that, Eric. There are steps that we can take to help you. First, I can do a blessing on you. Then we can do a blessing of your home. If neither of those work, then it would be sufficient justification to call in a specialist. He put his hands up to stop my excitement. And don't think he'll just show up and perform an exorcism. A lot of investigation and preparation needs to go into it. It won't be an easy fix. I nodded to him with a deep breath. It's a start at least. Okay then, how do we do this? The blessing was simple. He anointed my forehead with holy water as he said a prayer. Alright, I said after he finished. What next? Well, next I can bless your home. He took a moment to think. I have 3 more masses today. Are you free tomorrow? I'd have to call out of work, but yes. We can set it for another day if... No. I cut off. I sighed and then apologized. Tomorrow, please. My phone chimed as soon as I got through the door. Beth. What took you so long? Now she was using punctuation. Perhaps she's learning. What do you mean? Beth. Church should have been over an hour ago. Where were you? She didn't know? I was pretty sure she saw the whole conversation. Was she trying to make me admit my plan? You didn't see me? Beth. Just answer the question. Only one way to find out. I was saying a rosary for my dad.